Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fabulous Women Podcast Studio. I am your host, Kim Allen, and we have such a very, very special guest today. Her name is Dr. Belinda Salas Basaka. Dr. B, I'm delighted to have you here.
Delighted to be here, Dr. Kim.
Yes. A lot of people hopefully realize that I have an opportunity to speak with my guests well before the podcast, a week or two or whatever before the podcast. And I just know I'm excited because you don't know what you don't know yet. Once you get to meet Dr. B and she gets to tell her story, you're going to see exactly what I mean. So Dr. B, her story is one of courage, leadership, and perspective. Excited to hear the wisdom she has gained through her journey and for all of you to hear her story. At the Fabulous Women Podcast Studio, we celebrate the truth that these fabulous women see fabulous women, and today's conversation is exactly an example of that. The name of this episode and this title is To Leave a Place Better Than You Found It. So, Dr. B, is it okay if I read your bio real quick so that the audience gets to know a lot about you?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Great. All right. So Dr. B is an Amazon best-selling international author, a global speaker, lifestyle, cultural, and mindset coach focused on whole person healing. She has a master of biochemistry and molecular biology and an MD with distinction in research from Albany Medical College of New York. Most recently, her new cookbook reached the top of the Amazon new release bestseller list in 2 categories. And she was featured as a guest panelist on the Oprah podcast, A Lifelong Dream Realized. Oh my gosh, you have so much to say. I'm going to start asking you some great questions about you, Dr. B. But before we begin, do you have anything you want to say or anything you want to add?
No, I'm just so excited to be here, and I'm honored to be your guest today. Is what I want to say. I'm so excited I came tripping over my own words.
I do that all the time. You're an amazing human being, and we're going to find out more right now, starting with my questions. I think that the first set of questions really goes into your background, which is so fascinating. Dr. B, you began your career as a pediatrician and a scientist, yet today your work spans wellness, culture, and personal transformation. What experiences led you to expand your work beyond medicine?
So very interesting question. Because all my life I wanted to be a physician. Both my parents were physicians, and it was part of my culture. Just dinner talks and everything was around helping people, medical stories. And as I went to school, to undergrad, grad school, medical school, and residency, I found myself being pulled more to an advocacy type position.
Sure.
I ran a lot of clubs, president of the class, things like that. And I just always felt there was a leadership component that went beyond my calling as a physician. And about a dozen years ago, I decided to close my practice after a certain amount of, it's a little challenging times. That was when the shift of medical insurances and pharmas and things really, let's just say that it affects a doctor's way of treating a patient. And it just wasn't what I signed up to do, as a physician. So I did a lot of soul searching, and I closed my practice, which was very difficult. And I decided to still advocate for the family, for the child, for the parents. I believe if you raise healthy families, healthy parents, you have healthy families, you have healthy families, you have healthy children. So my work very much still centers around that paradigm, that mindset.
Right. So interesting, because when you and I spoke, you were saying that often you want to tell everyone your mantra, which is leave every place better than you found it, which is why it's the title of this podcast episode, to honor you, because it's really, again, it's what you believe in. So, Dr. B, where did that philosophy come from?
So I have to credit my parents for that. They really laid the seed, planted the seed for that. My father used to always say, always do good, like do good and always give more than you receive, almost, because in the end it's the man upstairs watching. It's all for.
Right.
My mom would be on a more practical level. I'll always remember her every time we ate at a, like, say, a fast food restaurant or a like a food court. She'd always like wipe up our table afterward and throw everything up, but wipe up our table and even the chairs. And I was like, Mom, why are you doing that? Like, they have people that, she's like, never leave your mess for somebody else. Always
Mhm.
make it better than even the way you found it. And
Wow.
I just built on that. I built on that. I'm very spiritual. I built on that spiritually, mentally, psychologically. I've always did that, whether it's relationships, physical space, your own physicality. Always have that as my main mantra, my main mission in life.
I love that because when you were saying that your mom would clean up after herself, people that know me know that I'm pretty much a germaphobe. I used to be in hospital sales, so I would go in the OR a lot and I would scrub with all the doctors and the nurses, and they taught me how to do that. And they also taught me all about infectious disease, and which is why I'm a germaphobe. So I'm always wiping things down. I keep those companies who are the Lysol wipes people. Even before COVID, I'm like, yeah, I've got a whole garage full of these. But that is what I think. And then you just added something so beautiful. It goes beyond both your parents being a physician, you being a physician, but it goes beyond the germs. It goes toward just doing the right thing for other people. That's quite
Right.
a message. Yeah.
Mhm.
I love that.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes. So you've built a unique path as a physician and as an author of 2 books, a speaker, and cultural wellness guide. At what point, Dr. B, did you realize that your purpose was evolving into something bigger than clinical medicine?
Yeah, so I think it was a little chunks along the way. My practice was called New Health Pediatrics back then.
Okay.
And actually, it was 22 years ago on Tuesday that I opened that practice,
Wow.
but had closed it like
Right.
about 10 years later. Anyway, along the way, I what I did in that practice was I'd had home visits.
Mm,
When I did home visits, especially to newborns, I taught
yes.
about breastfeeding, home safety, car seat safety, and little by little, I just became very interested in child advocacy. Right.
Mm,
So I knew that mostly all pediatricians are child advocates. I'm not saying anything different, but I just felt like a calling to do something above and beyond the walls of my practice. I just
mm,
really felt I wanted to do something on a grander scale, on a bigger scale. I didn't know what it was, but
right.
it was something about leadership and advocacy and helping families to be healthier and safer and more connected. That was my come from, if you will. That was
Sure.
where my heart is, and always will be.
Right.
I strongly believe in that.
It's interesting because as I've gotten to know you, you're a very passionate human being. And I think that your heart is clearly bigger than the size of Texas. And I'm seeing now because we're talking about you, again, as being an author, a speaker, and a cultural wellness person, written books about that. Um, it seems that when we fast forward to where you are now, it shows where the gaps were. That again, your heart was carrying all of that, and it didn't know its place. It didn't know where it was going to be born. And look at you now, right?
Yeah, you absolutely hit the nail on the head on that one. Absolutely,
Yeah.
yes,
Yep.
yeah. I
Okay. Go ahead.
No, I just said I agree 100%.
Okay.
You just completely completed that notion even more so than I really examined it to this point. So thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So now we're moving on to the life quake story.
Mm.
And I'm just letting the audience know that this is, for me, it was shocking to hear this. And for you, it was life changing. So you've spoken about an experience, what you call life quake. Can you share what that moment in your life looked like, Dr. B?
Sure. So lifequake is actually not a term that I came up with. I saw it prior to my lifequake.
Hmm.
It was actually, whether it was prior, the notion was presented to me prior, but I saw this lifequake term after, and I'm going to define it first before we dig in. A lifequake is like something that shakes your earth beneath your feet and
Mm,
was probably designed to make you crumble, but
mm,
actually built you stronger. You know, you actually had an awakening. And I remember sharing this with you. As a coach, we have coach trainers, right? So it was Coach to Coach Day for this one platform I was on. And I'll never forget Coach Sherry Joe. Her name was Sherry Joe. And she said, I feel that having cancer was the best thing that ever happened to me.
mm.
And I was absolutely floored because I was like, wow, to have something like that be the best thing, only to find out that about a month later, I had my own best thing that ever happened to me, life quake that I said it was. And I shockingly had a ruptured brain aneurysm celebrating my 26th wedding anniversary in upstate New
Mhm.
York with my husband. And it led to 3 weeks of being in a hospital, mostly in the ICU, and 3 brain procedures later. I walked out of there without a neurological deficit at all. I kind of joke. I said, well, I'm not sure if it was a menopause thing or whatever, but there is still some brain fog and there's still some, why did I come in here for that reason? So I don't know what it's, based
Right,
on, whether it was the
right.
life quake or my point is I have full use of all of my limbs. There's nobody can ever tell that I went through that
Mm,
a year and a half ago.
wow.
And it was probably, it wasn't at the time, but it is the best thing that has happened to me because it's forced me to reevaluate my life and to not sweat the small stuff. And
No.
as the book says, there's a lot of small stuff.
Oh,
So yeah.
absolutely. Again, since I've met you, I've been thinking about that so much. And I keep replaying in my mind what you said about that other woman, that coach that said, cancer was the best thing that ever happened to me. That is what stops me in my tracks.
Yeah.
Because for a lot of us, it takes something like that in order for us to realize how we should start living again. And your story of that happening, I'm so sorry it happened. And it wasn't that long ago that this happened. And you look amazing. You were full
Thank
of
you.
life. Yes. And you're here with us. So I'm really excited about that.
Yes.
S- Yep. So, Dr. B, when something that profound happens, many people are forced to pause and re-examine everything, like I just said about life. What did that experience awaken in you?
Yeah. So we were talking about this. So there was me as a mom, a woman, a person just going through it. Then there was the doctor me who I had to put duct tape on while I was
Mm,
healing on the
mm,
mouth. And I just had to say, I'm not looking anything up. I'm not reevaluating anything,
oh,
any of my lab work or anything. I'm
yep.
just focused. And then there was the spiritual me who just said, let go and let God, let everything just happen and really
Mm,
put your faith every day. When my family would go home and it was time for me to
mm,
be alone, I said, oh, it's another day of healing and I'm going to sleep to have tomorrow as another day of healing. Got one day of
mm,
healing down. I'm one day closer to being healed even more. And so that really became a big philosophy change in my life like do as much as you can for this day, and tomorrow be another day, and
Mm,
celebrate yourself for what you did today. Whether
right.
it's, during the healing process, some days I just had to rest. I couldn't do anything. My head
Right.
hurt too much when I was at home or when so it
Right.
was like it became rest is productive. Rest is
Mm,
essential. Rest is needed to heal. And it's like that for any of us, not even people who are healing from a condition. We need to, I always tell my clients, you need to lower that cortisol. And rest will do that
yes.
because cortisol is just wreaking havoc on our bodies.
Yes.
So that's
Yes.
how my journey was reimagined and leaked into my life, being reimagined, if you will.
So I think you just explained a lot of this. My next question is, how did that moment reshape the way you think about how you want to live the rest of your life?
Right.
Because I mean,
Yes.
we just go through life every day, right? We're on a loop. We're on that treadmill and we don't ever shut it off sometimes. But it is life changing. And it sounds like for you, doctor, it was a big perspective change.
Absolutely. It absolutely was. I'm a recovering perfectionist. So, it was never like, it was never enough. I could have done it better. I could have done more. I could have finished faster. I could have started the next project. And
Right.
this life taught me to slow it down and to
Mm,
really, was it that important to make that particular craft thing incredibly perfect? Was it that important to make 3 things of that recipe instead of 2? Like, just let go of a lot of that now. And I let
right.
go of I put up a lot of boundaries in my life and let
Right.
go of a lot of restrictions in my life.
Wow. And it's different for you. Like you were talking about, you weren't looking at your blood work, you weren't researching anything. You're a medical doctor and you know exactly how to do that. So that discipline of not doing it is so admirable. And just intentionally making these decisions for yourself. I mean, everyone that's watching this or listening to this right now, this is a doctor giving us a prescription on life. And she's giving us this prescription based on what happened to her. These things may not have happened to any of us. I don't know about all of you, but and we're going to be 3 more questions, and I'm going to be talking about something really cool that has changed how I live my life right now. All because of you, Dr. B. Okay, so we're now going to be going on to the again that reinvention and that midlife wisdom that you are so full of right now, Dr. B. And I'm so happy that you're here sharing this with us. Much of your work focuses on helping women in midlife navigate transitions like menopause, empty nesting, and personal reinvention. Why is this stage of life such an important time for transformation, according to what you believe in, Dr. B?
Yeah, I have to be honest, approaching my 50s, I was like, what does this mean? Like, I've heard other women, with the menopause struggles. I'm like, I'm not going to be that. My body's not going to do that. With them, their children flying the coop. And I'm like, I'm going to be strong. Well, that all flew out the window. It's just
Mhm.
not like that. I suffer from all the menopausal. I mean, when I do a talk and I show how many symptoms menopausal women go through, is I'm like, these are just some of the symptoms, and invariably my whole audience is like, whoa,
Right.
because it's a ton of symptoms, even like burning in the mouth. Like, who would ever think that's a symptom? So anyway, empty nesting too is just like the rug is being pulled out from underneath you. Like,
Absolutely.
your rhythm
Absolutely.
of your life and
Yep.
your character and who you are is completely. So these are the things that I talk about in my midlife parenting or midlife issues workshops. And that is, we talked about the analogy of the purse, but I'm also going to talk about the 2 analogies. So the purse is, when your purse gets heavy and you're carrying it around and you're like, what the heck do I have in this purse? It's so heavy. It's hurting my shoulder. I'm getting a headache. So you dump it out like Ali Sheedy in the Breakfast Club. and
Right.
everything is splayed out on the table, and you decide, this is garbage. This I want to keep in my purse. This I can put in my desk. This I can put in my bedroom. And now all of a sudden your purse is lighter and you carry it. Or, all of us, with Hurricane Sandy or hurricanes, tornadoes, when your house is completely destroyed, or maybe there's a leak and everything's
Yes.
damaged, and now you pull in, I'm going to have it renovated. Well, never really liked the window in that corner. I want it in this corner. Or I actually want to turn this extra space into a bathroom, and that would be more useful for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens in midlife. Your life, as you know it, has completely gotten heavy or leveled, and you're going to decide, it's not the end of the life, it's clarity around your life. I heard that somewhere this week and I was like, oh, I love that. I'm going to use it. It's not the end. It's more clarity in your life, what you want, what you don't want, what you will do differently in the rest of your life. And that's my biggest mantra for menopause or midlife or anyone going through empty nesting, anything like that, because it truly is. It's not a declaration that things are over for you. It's a declaration that you're moving through another phase, and you're smarter, you're wiser, you know what you want, you know what you don't want, and there's such clarity around how you're going to live your life moving forward.
Absolutely. That's so well said. I do have a question about that, because in your experience being around other women and working with women, coaching women, Dr. B, what are some of the things that women often realize that they need to let go of, even whether it's menopause or empty nest or a new career or a new job?
Right. You're right. I mean, expectations, I think, is a
Mm,
big thing that we need to let go of. I think, as Tony Robbins always says, if you trade your expectations for gratitude, your life will look completely different. Like if you just say, instead of, oh, well, I expected my son to go to college for 4 years and go straight, and I'm going to fight him because he wants to drop out or he wants to do another something or other, instead of saying, I'm just so glad that my son came to me and spoke to me about this, and is inviting me into his space to make decisions, life can completely change. And that's actually the premise of my first book, the Mom, I Want to Be a Fighter book. I had to stop with my expectations around what I wanted his path to be like, and just celebrate the fact that he was keeping me in the loop the whole time and asking for my advice and running things by me. Maybe not always taking my advice, but at least connecting with me, and I didn't lose him forever around that. In fact, we're even more close than we've ever been. So I traded my expectation for the gratitude of the connection between my son and myself. And P.S. He graduated and is doing a completely different pathway than what he graduated with, but he's so happy and he's so fulfilled. He's a EMT, and he just got accepted to NYPD EMT. Yeah, I'm sorry, fire department EMT. So
wow.
really proud of him, and he wants to become a paramedic with FDNY.
Wow.
Yeah,
Congratulations to
all because
him.
thank you. Yeah, he decided that when I was in the ICU, and was so floored by how all of the medical staff treated me and treated the whole family and supported them. He's like, I want to pay it forward. I want to do that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dr. B, I'm having a moment. I've got more questions for you. I'm just basking in this moment because you just gave me such great life advice to not have expectations, but gratitude. That is just really amazing. One more question about this bucket that we're talking about, that many women reach midlife, like they spent decades caring for everyone else. How do women begin connecting with themselves again?
Yes, that is a huge question. And I actually work with a lot of women, and women in my culture actually, to do just that. Um, and it might be a mind trick, but I'm going to share it with you.
Okay.
And you're, when you have a birthday cake, right? And you need to light all the candles on the birthday cake. So
Mhm.
you have one candle and it's really not well lit. it's kind of half in and out. So I asked my audience, what happens when I try to light all those candles with that half lit candle? Everybody's like, you can't. It snuffs out. But if it's brightly lit, brightly lit, you can light all of the candles and keep yours shining brightly, and everybody shines brightly.
Wow.
That candle is you.
Yep.
You need to keep your candle brightly lit. If not, you can't light everybody else's candle.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I agree with you.
You know, right? When you go on an airplane, what do they say? Put the mask on the little kids and the people around you first before you. No, they say put the mask on yourself first so you can help other people. That's what midlife is trying to tell us after all these years.
It's true.
Put the mask on yourself first.
Right.
And if I quote my one of my role models, Oprah Winfrey, serve from your overflow, not from your empty.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Serve from your overflow.
Yes.
And I'm going to take it a step further. Pour your gallon-sized, she said this, and I love this. This is another one of my mantras. Pour your gallon-sized blessings over the people that will appreciate it. In other words, what she exactly said is, don't pour your gallon-sized blessings over pint-sized people who wouldn't even appreciate it anymore.
Not a drop.
Right. So we must pour. Exactly. Even if we overflow their cups, they won't appreciate it. So not only serve from your overflow, but serve it to people that will appreciate it.
Wow.
So,
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I need to get my checkbook out and like write you a check for your therapy here.
But yeah, it's just simple things that we kind of know, but we need to be, we need to be reminded about why we're here. We all have a gift. We all have blessings to pour.
Yeah, no, you're right. And audience, we're going to be going a few minutes over on this podcast. Do not end. Okay. Dr. B, as you can tell already, she's a wealth. She's a physician with a wealth of medical and life experiences that we all need to hear. And we still have a few more minutes left, but I'm asking you every question because I think that they're all important. That is just, again, an amazing perspective. So thank you for that. When you talk about your culture and your identity and your wellness, your book and your culinary work celebrate the intersection of culture, health, and heritage. Why is food such a powerful bridge between identity and well-being?
Such a great question. Such a great question. So when I approached writing this book and when I approached working with a lot of Filipino women in the United States and Canada, actually, but mostly the United States, I actually came with a little bit of guilt, to be honest, because, in any generation, not even in just culture, there's always some kind of intergenerational stuff. I don't like using the word intergenerational stuff. And I really didn't want to throw my ancestors or my mom or my grand under the bus,
Right.
So I really wanted to approach this whole topic with great care and great respect.
Right.
And something that I reconciled with myself is that if we don't shine a light on the weak spots of our culture won't propagate and be stronger and last.
Right.
So we could still have tradition. So for example, my cookbook, we could still have traditional food, the comfort food, the food that makes us remember when grandma used to cook it and we had a whole family. But maybe with little tweaks in it, we can make it healthier. And when we're healthier, our culture lasts, our people last, because like in the American culture, the top killers of our diseases are cardiovascular disease, stroke, things like, So if we make our people healthier, and have better well-being and have better psychological interactions, then we survive as a culture. We survive as a
Absolutely.
people. Um,
Absolutely.
and that was the way I was able to be very convicted in what I was doing. It wasn't to shame, it was to shine a light so we can be stronger. So
Right.
well-being is so
Exactly.
important in that. Yeah.
Exactly. And the cookbook that you were referring to, everyone, is an Amazon bestseller for, is it Southeast Asia or South Asian food?
Yes. So Southeast, so it was a bestseller. It was in the top 10 for Southeast Asian food, and it was a bestseller in new releases for heart
Right.
healthy cooking and
Yes.
Southeast Asian cooking.
Yes.
So, and it could be for any kitchen,
Right.
because there's actually a page, I believe it's page 45, if my memory see, that's the thing, is that my memory, is that menopause, is that if my memory serves me correctly, it's page 45, and it's a table, and what it says is, instead of this, use this.
Oh, I
Instead
love
of
those.
white rice, use brown rice or white quinoa
Right.
or rice cauliflower. So
Right.
all these little substitutions, little bit over time, add up to a healthier well-being, better labs, better energy, probably some
Mm,
weight loss, and you don't lose the taste and the feel of it. You're taking it and renovating it into a
right.
better, a healthier version.
Right.
And so the book goes into all of that, and why those healthier ingredients, why they are healthier, whether it's better antioxidants or better
Right.
minerals and vitamins or anything like that, the easier digestibility. So I really dig into a lot of the nutrition around that as well.
Well, my book is on the way. I love South Asian food, and I can't wait to. I love cooking, and I love following great cookbooks. But for me, it's not just that the food tastes great; it's that it's healthy for you. So I can't wait. Maybe that could be a future podcast of me cooking at my great stove with you telling me what I'm doing.
I would love that. I would love
Right?
that. Oh my God. Yes. I want you to share your pictures too, because I
Oh,
love seeing, I have
absolutely.
people always flooding me with their pictures. I made this tonight. I made this for my dad. I
Oh,
did
I'll
this
do
for
that
my
for you.
sons. Yes,
Yeah.
please. I would love that.
Well, okay, great. All right, I have 3 more questions for you. So again,
Okay.
you had the incredible opportunity to participate in a conversation connected with Oprah, something that you once described as a butterfly list dream. What did that moment represent for you personally, Dr. B?
Uh, it, so she was always on my dream board, my vision board for years. And most recently, I started putting her. So this is a tip for dream boards or vision boards. Put yourself in the dream board, in the vision
Mm,
board. So I had her with me like a year ago or so. And I always said, I'm going to be interviewed by her one day. I
mhm,
always thought, ever since I launched my first book, I said, I'm going to be interviewed by her one day. Well,
right,
when it happened, because there was a call for a certain topic, there was a call for audience members and for people who may want to be a part of it. I auditioned via the producer email why I thought I would be a fit. And when it happened, I I mean, this is a woman that I listen to on a regular basis, all her words of wisdom, and I've used it in my books, I've used it in my trainings. And it felt like, wow, when you dream and you work toward the dream, it can
that's
happen.
right, absolutely.
Um, so yeah, so it was a very, it was up there for me, with like graduating,
Wow,
college, medical school, grad school, residency. Um,
yes,
it was it was just a really, like I said, a lifelong dream that
right.
came to fruition.
Yeah, I mean,
Amazing. It was.
and I love listening to your experience because I now have 1 degree of separation from Oprah. What? And I actually wrote down here, dream board. I may be a
Yeah, yeah,
podcaster, but I'm still a learner and I'm still part of your audience. So I'm gonna do that. I love that. And I know I'm gonna be putting it
yeah,
right in front of me. So that's all because of you.
yeah.
All right, 2 more questions. So Dr. B, I often say that fabulous women see fabulous women, and I really do believe that. When you look at the women who shaped your life, who comes to mind and what did they teach you about becoming the woman that you are today?
Woo, that's a loaded question, but
Uh-oh.
I will say, no, I have to give props where props are due, and that's obviously my mom who birthed me and showed me what it was like to be a strong, determined
Mm,
woman. I mean, she came here in 1962, diminutive woman, Asian, obviously from the Philippines, third world country, and made her mark in a white male dominated field of medicine
mm,
and
yeah.
didn't let anybody tell her different. I mean,
I already love her.
she, oh, she was, she tell me stories about how men would, doctors would, one doctor said, called her honey, can you get this? She's like, excuse me, I'm Dr. Sellis. I earned my degree just like you, and pointing at his thing. And, 5'1" little Asian
Powerhouse.
woman saying,
Right.
yeah. So she taught me. And I remember my best friend from college said, you know, it's in your walk, it's in the way you talk, it's in the way you carry yourself that your mom's strength comes through. She also comes from Tondo, Manila, which is everybody knows that's Filipino knows that's like the Bronx of Manila. Like, you don't mess with anybody from there. So on that note, her sister too, my aunt was a big influence in my life, and she met women. And this is going to be part of another book that I'll probably be writing, but it's part of the research that I do about Filipino women. She met 3 women when she was in her pediatric residency that were just as formidable as she was in their own way. And they created a family. And they're all my godmothers, the 3 of them. And they've shaped my life too.
Wow.
I'm still in touch with them. I still talk to them. I still, I
Wow.
still go to them like they're my own moms. Like, look, I wrote a book here. Like,
I love that.
and the reason why I say I'm going to write a book on this because I've seen patterns like this, especially here in the Northeast, where immigrants from the Philippines during that time made their own network, their own families, and became godparents of their children. And now we're becoming godparents of each other's children. So it's just a really amazing phenomenon. I stand on their shoulders among other physicians and doctors and scientists that I've worked with. So there's a little smattering of all these women. As one of my attending physicians says, your way of becoming being a doctor is going to be a mix of all the favorite doctors that you ever worked with. You're going to have a little bit of each. So I think that's a fair statement for all the women in my life.
Okay. So my final question for you, Dr. B, when you think about the next generation of women watching and listening, even to this podcast, what is the one piece of wisdom you hope that they carry forward?
Yes. I love that question. Obviously, leave a place better than you found it has always been the question, the mantra. I always teach that. Even as when I was a youth minister, I do a lot of work at the church. I always teach that. And there's a corollary to that, and it's when in doubt, focus out.
Ooh.
When you're in the dump, this is a lifesaver. This nugget is a lifesaver. It saved my life. Even when I was in the ICU and feeling like, well, how long am I going to be here? I focused out. I did things and I'm not saying a martyr. I'm saying, I did things because like we have a classmate who passed away and we were trying to establish a scholarship in her name. So from the hospital bed, I did some work on that. When in doubt, focus out. Doesn't have to be tremendous. It could be, I'm going to write a note to a friend that I know her father passed away or whatever. Just write a little note or send her a text. It is the best medicine for any kind of stuckness, feeling sorry for yourselfness, depression, anything is when in doubt, focus out. And I've taught my kids that. My whole household runs on that.
Right.
So yeah, that's a different form of leave a place better than you found it, right? It's when in doubt, focus out.
Said from a physician, everyone. This is amazing. I feel like you just gave me a personal prescription that I don't have to run to Walgreens for.
I love
I
that.
I'm just so in awe of you. I love it. Dr. B, I just want to thank you so much for being a guest and for sharing your story. Truly, I think that we're friends now after the conversations that we've had, right? Okay, so I think
Absolutely.
mentally we've spent what, a full month talking to each other, but it hasn't been a full month. But just you're so special, and I'm definitely going to be having you back on at some point. We're going to be doing something else because you are a woman. But you're just, I mean, you're not a one-trick pony. You do so much. And I just think that the world needs to learn even more about you. See, I know a lot about you and you don't know everything about her yet, but I do. So I'm going to be sharing you again on my platform. I want to thank everyone who's listening and watching this for joining the Fabulous Women Podcast Studio. And everyone knows me that when I'm ending my podcast, I have two asks. Number one is to pay it forward, please. And the second part is to love, support, and promote women. That is my platform. I'm doing that. My platform is going to be getting even bigger. Stay tuned for an announcement. But at the end of the day, don't make women have to try so hard and knock down the brick walls or kick down the doors that we've had to do that. It's not necessary in this year. All right. We are now at the year, 2026? It is not at all necessary to watch other women have to do that. Why can't we just open the door for them? Whether they report to you, whether they're colleagues, or whether you report to them, regardless of their age or their generation, we should all be supporting each other. I know that I am my own message. Dr. B, I know that you are your own message as well. But again, I really want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast, being an amazingly wonderful guest. And until next time, I want everyone to stay fabulous. And remember, I see what you're doing. And collectively, as women, we all see you. Have a great time. Until next time, be fabulous.